Reverend's going to speak, so I'm going to introduce the Reverend. This is Reverend Wright, and I'm really privileged to be here with him, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't judge anybody, but man, I've talked to a lot of pastors and reverends, and they go, Nick, woo, we can't go there. That's taboo. That conversation for us is taboo. Well, when I met this gentleman, and I realized that he professes Christ, lives it, risks everything for his beliefs, and stands and calls anyone out for what they're doing, be they black, white, or brown. I realized, wow, what a privilege. So, to me...
First of all, I want to thank you all of y'all for coming out today and not finding it robbery to sit at home. I want to let you know this. The summons that says, wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed, no more backwards thinking, time for thinking ahead. That's what it's going to take in order for us to change not only this police department, but to change this city, period. And that's quit thinking backwards and think ahead. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. You've been victimized. You're a victimocrat. You've been victimized by both parties. It's about right and wrong and not black and white. And so thank you all for coming out. And what you need to do is make sure you vote. Make sure you tell somebody to vote. If you're in church, tell your pastor to come out here and be involved with what's going on with his citizens. Because if y'all don't show up in church, we can't get no offering. We're not going to grow. So tell him God's property don't stop at the offering table, but he needs to come out here and help fight for the injustice that's going on in this city. Thank you, and God bless you.
Let's get you back to McKinney, Texas, and right now the Next Generation Action Network is holding a rally and a press briefing in response to the police officer that was put on administrative leave after the weekend altercation at a local community pool. Let's listen.
This simply could have been handled different by this officer asking them to get off of that property, or they will give them a citation. But this officer didn't do that. And as a corporal, he should know what needs to be done and how it should be done when it comes to people that own properties that they shouldn't be on. So today we're going to ask for justice to be done, and this is ridiculous that we'll continue to fight these type of issues throughout this country. And this is setting the stage, and we just passed the open weapons law here in this state. We're setting the stage for a terrorist attack in this country. And the group is not going to be ISIS, it's going to be us against these injustice law officers and people who continue to allow racism to grow into this city.
To me, to stand by him and him to say, Nick, I'm going to help you, stand by you, means the world to me. So with that, Reverend Wright.
All right, thank you. First of all, I want to thank Stan, all of y'all for being here today. Thank you, baby boy. You're going to talk because I got something to share with you. I keep y'all up in my prayers. I'm Reverend Ronald Wright. I'm the Executive Director of Justice Seekers Texas. I was former president of SCLC and of all those organizations y'all know about, but NAACP, they all dog and pony shows now. But I am the president, and how many know you make your bed hard, you got to lay in it? I was listening to baby boy tell his story about the McKinney situation. I did a press conference for that McKinney situation, and I told them they were creating their own terrorists in this country, and the terrorists wasn't going to be called ISIS, it's going to be called USIS. I got threats from all over the world. But what they fail to realize, I was talking about not just black folk attack. Let me tell you something, not comparing black folk to animals, but if you kicking a dog, you keep kicking a dog, what are you going to do? You're going to bite your butt back. And that's exactly what the police set themselves up for. Good officers sit back silently and allow bad officers to cause them to get where they are today. And silence helps the oppressor and not the oppressed. A lot of them sit back, neutrality, and say it don't matter to me and what done to my folk. Well, neutrality helps the tormentor and not the tormented. We live in a society today that the reason why the police things are happening to them now is because not just the media show them and these kids playing games killing police, but because the good officers sit back quietly and allow the bad officers to take over. My brother found it not robbery to come out here and stand up for our people, but it ain't all just on him and black police officers. You got black elected officials that look like you that don't do a darn thing, and you vote them in there for what? If you vote me in some place and don't give me nothing to do, then I don't care about you. I know I'm going to make a lot of y'all hot, and I do it all over the world. I filed the largest discrimination lawsuit in the history of America against a company called Turner Industries. And your last President Bush, and this was in 2010. I'm not talking about in the 60s, where they had black restrooms and white restrooms. The white restrooms vents would go into the black restrooms when they get to use the bathroom. This happened in 2010. This wasn't years ago. So what we're going through it because until we can come together as a people, we're going to continue to fight the way we fight. We know what we went through as slaves. We know what Martin died. And you mentioned Martin King, baby girl. I guarantee you, Martin could smoke that cigarette in that bathroom when he went in that bathroom instead of out there on that balcony. I deal with black folks every day on a daily basis. And until we come together and hold ourselves accountable, we can't get mad at them. Because if we don't respect ourselves, they're not going to respect us. I stopped the police from using the chokehold. Police officers used to choke black boys to death and give each other high five. Can you imagine getting your wind cut off of you for a little bitty bag of marijuana? And back in David, Texas, all this is by, y'all have heard this saying that my brothers in the clergy, you reap what you sow. All this comes from when they put crack in our neighborhood, not a one of us stood up and said, you're not going to bring it in our neighborhood. And the reason why is because our churches was in the ghetto, and we were living in the suburbs, but we didn't know every Sunday we go, crack would get a ride back with us. And for you know it was out there in the suburbs. But we allowed things to happen to us. We've got elected officials that should say things when black boys get gunned down, and they don't say a thing. But you constantly elect them. I'm going to ask you another question. Y'all going to like it. I had to get on your president. Because all the 8 years he was there, if I asked you to raise your hand up right now and tell me what he did for black folk, I guarantee you could none of you raise your hand up. So how you going to get mad at somebody else when we don't respect and do things for ourselves? And until we come together, and not only this, and I'm not going to be long, because if I talk as long as them, I'm going to pass the offering tray around. But I'm just going to tell you, I ain't going to be long. I'm just getting ready to sit down. But listen, until we come together and stand, I hope that we can fight the immortality thing, but I'm hoping them babies ain't saying I'm ready to go because ain't no daddy. Oh, y'all didn't hear that. Until we bring the family back together. Women, teach your younger girls. If you're going to get a boy, I was on a gospel radio show one time, and the girl said she had 4 babies by 4 different young black boys. I said, well, baby, and she said they wasn't no good. I said, well, when did you find out they wasn't no good? When you had your legs open or when you had them closed? Then she sit there and looked, and I said, you need to keep your legs closed and your mouth open. Now, for all of you old folk, y'all know what I'm talking about. I had to catch myself. I said, wait a minute, I don't mean giving them no head. I mean ask them questions. Ask them, do you love God? Do you have a mother and father? If I got pregnant, will you take care of my children? See, we went from one generation of black women getting on Section 8 to now we got 5 different generations on Section 8. They have babies to be on Section 8. And that's because, and then when mama run daddy out, can't no woman raise no boy. And so these young boys walking around here with their pants sagging, a police officer killed a young boy for stealing a candy bar out of a 7-Eleven. And the police said he thought he was reaching for a gun, and the young boy was pulling his pants up. So until we come together as a people, see, Martin didn't die for us to be where we are right now. Malcolm didn't die for us to be where we are right now. But the minute we come together, and the reason why we are falling apart, because it's by design. The old Roman tactic was divide and conquer. They came at the black man with everything they could, and the only thing that was successful was the black woman. And they told her to leave the black man. Oh, I'm talking to somebody. To leave the black man. They'll put her in a house, told her rent was $6. And she didn't have to worry about the milk because they got Section 8 food stamp, but she could have everything but what God created out of her. They got the black woman thinking she's the head, but the Bible says that we are the head. Is that right, pastors? If you ain't got no head, then you dead. So until we come together, and I want to let you know something, I'm going to sit that down. It ain't just the police that's killing us, but you're being killed in the hospital because they're firing our black medical doctors. I've had to stand up for 2 of them in the last 2 years. They're firing our black lawyers. And so if you ain't got nobody look like you, who do you think care about you? I was in the hospital with a woman that's 105 years old yesterday, and they said, well, ain't nothing we can do for her. She's 105, ain't nothing we can do for her. I guarantee if she'd been a white woman, they'd try to do something for her. But until we respect ourselves, ain't nobody else gonna respect us. What the police doing to us wrong, but y'all got black mayors in this city and council members. What are they saying? We've got some of our brothers in the clergy ain't saying a word because they think God's property stop at the offering table, but it don't. And I got news for you. I've yet to see an armored truck follow somebody to the graveyard. So we can blame the police. We can blame white folk because we know they've, and the reason why they don't like you is because they come from you. Baby girl, me and you can make a white baby, but two white folk can't make a black baby. And when they die, they put them in the grave immediately. You know why? Because they show who they look like and where they come from, and that's you. So until we come together, we're going to always go through what we're going through. Our organization is Justice Seekers Texas. You can Google us up, and you can see what we've been doing throughout the last 18 to 20 years in the city of Dallas. And our theme song is Wake Up Everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking. Time for thinking ahead. God bless you.
Wake up everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead.
This is how we do it.